Good morning. So after studying the definition of the seed germination, we will study the types of seed germination. Now at the time of germination of a dicot seed, the embryo of the seed wakes up and it grows. Suppose at the time of germination, this is the germinating seed having two cotyledons and a growing embryo axis, which is made up of the two parts. The part which grows down into the soil, it is called as radicle, and the other part which grows above the soil into the air, it is called as a plumule. Now this radicle, by further growth, it forms future root, whereas this plumule, by its further growth, it forms future shoot or stem. Now then it elongates, and there are two regions which are present, which are important. A region between radicle and that of cotyledon, that is a region between radicle and that of cotyledon. This region is called as hypocotyle. It is called as a hypocotyle. The another region which is in between the cotyledons and that of plumule, so this region is called as epicotyle. Is called as epicotyle. So at the time of germination of a dicot seed, either epicotyle elongates first or hypocotyle elongates first. So based on elongation of this hypocotyle or that of epicotyle, the germination has been classified into two types. The one is epigeal germination, and another is hypogeal germination. There is another special type of seed germination has been observed, and that is called as viviparous. Viviparous type of the seed germination. So this seed germination is observed in the plants which are growing along the sea coast, and these plants are called as mangrove plants. So one by one we will study the three types of the seed germinations, that is epigeal, hypogeal and viviparous type of the seed germination. Okay. As germination is based on the either elongation of the hypocotyle or epicotyle, the germinations are of two types, epigeal and hypogeal. So here, this is the example of epigeal germination. In epigeal germination, before the elongation of the epicotyle, the hypocotyle region of the embryo axis elongates first very rapidly, and with it carries the two cotyledons above the soil surface into the air. So these cotyledons, they are raised out of the soil surface into the air. So this type of the germination is called as epigeal germination, where hypocotyle elongates. So here, in case of some plants, the cotyledons, they may be papery and thin. So when they are papery and thin, they become green and leafy. Some plants, they have very thick cotyledons. In such plants, the cotyledons, they do not become green and leafy, but they shrink and fall down. So this type of germination is observed in cucumber or tamarind or castor or gourd. The another type of germination, it is a hypogeal germination. So this is totally in contrast with that of the epigeal germination, where instead of elongation of the hypocotyle region of the embryo axis, the epicotyle region elongates very rapidly and it carries a plumule with it much away from the soil surface in the air. So this tip of the epicotyle, which now having a plumule at its tip, produces first pair of the leaf. Here, as there is no elongation of the hypocotyle, the cotyledons in some plants, they remain sometimes underground, and in some plants, if the cotyledons, they are raised out of the soil, they appear as if they are stuck to the soil surface. Now this type of seed germination is observed in mango or peas, etc. So there is another type of seed germination that is called as viviparous type of seed germination. So this is a special type of seed germination we will see. So the viviparous type of seed germination is observed in some plants which are growing along the coastal regions. Now these plants are called as mangrove plants. In coastal region there are marshy places, and these places they are filled with saline water, and in this water there is less concentration of the oxygen. So under such environment, the seeds of this plant, they cannot germinate. So for that reason, these plants have developed a unique technique of seed germination, and in this plant the seed germinates within the fruit when the fruits are still attached to the mother plant. We will see how it is. Suppose this is a twig. This is the twig of a mangrove plant. It is having a fruit. So as I told you, the seed germinates within the fruit when the fruit is attached to the mother plant. Now here, the seed in the fruit, it germinates by putting out a radicle first. So this is a radicle. Now this radicle further grows and it becomes very large and weighty. So it increases in its length, it increases its volume, its size, its weight is increased. So due to the increased weight or increasing weight, finally this seed which is germinating within the fruit, when the fruit is still attached to the mother plant, drops down into the muddy environment under the plant. So this fruit drops vertically here in the mud. Likewise, and after reaching into the mud by its radicle, this radicle produces the roots, in that muddy environment. And further, there is establishment of such mangrove seedlings. So, in a marshy and muddy environment where there is a less concentration of the oxygen and there is high concentration of the salt to tolerate such conditions, these mangrove plants, they have developed this type of phenomenon of seed germination is called as viviparous type of seed germination. So in this plant, the seed germinates within the fruit when the fruit is still attached to the mother plant. Okay. So this is observed in mangrove plant. So it is special type of seed germination. In this way, there are three types of the seed germinations we studied: epigeal, hypogeal, and viviparous type of seed germinations. Thank you. Good morning. So, after discussing the different types of the seed germinations, we will study there are different factors which are interfering or affecting the seed germination. Some of which we have studied while discussing the causes of seed dormancy. So what are those factors we will see here? The first factor, it is a water one. Now water is very important at the time of seed germination. In the presence of water, the seed can only imbibe. Now the synthesis of, that is the hydrolytic enzymes needed for the respiration takes place only in the presence of water. So in the absence of water, or when there is a poor or limited supply of the water, there is no imbibition of the seed, and hence there is no synthesis of the hydrolytic enzymes which are required for the respiratory pathway, and hence these enzymes, they are required for the breakdown or oxidation of the storage products. So in this way the water affects them. The second factor, it is the oxygen. The oxygen is very important at the time of seed germination. Now this acts as an energy source, and this oxygen, it is necessary for the oxidation of the carbohydrates, macromolecules when they are subjected to the respiratory pathways. So during this breakdown, there is oxidation of these macromolecules, and for the oxidation, this oxygen is required at the time of, that is seed germination. Now this when the carbon dioxide concentration is very high, this affects the seed germination. Now the next factor, it is the temperature. Now temperature have a profound effect on the seed germination. Now there are some seeds of some plants which require the temperature ranging from 16 degree to 24 degree Celsius for their germination. Some seeds require temperature ranging from 24 degree to 32 degree Celsius. Some plants, they require temperature below the freezing point ranging from -2 degree Celsius to -4 degree Celsius, and there are some plants which requires temperature for their seed germination below -5 degree Celsius. Now the exposure to the optimum temperature is very important at the time of seed germination, and if the treatment to the optimum temperature fails, the seeds, they cannot germinate. Now the next factor which affects the seed germination is light. Now there are some plants which require light, that means sunlight. Sunlight is required There are some plants which require, that is a red light, and there are some plants which require dark period or darkness for their seed germination. If the exposure or treatment of the seeds to their optimum required of the light, sunlight or red light or dark period fails, there is no seed germination observed. Sometimes the seeds they germinate in dark, but as there is no sunlight exposure, there is no synthesis of the chloroplast, and hence the dark grown seedlings they appear yellow. Their leaves appear yellow, and such a yellow colored seedlings which are grown in a dark period, they are called as etiolated. Etiolated seedlings, and this phenomenon of yellowing of dark grown seedling is called as etiolation. The last factor is called it is an internal factor, and this includes many. So internal factors includes the presence of secondary metabolites in the form of phenols, flavonoids, alkaloids in the cotyledons or within the seed coat. If these are present in higher concentration, their higher concentration interferes with the activities of many respiratory enzymes, and therefore there is no proper seed germination observed. Sometimes there is an endogenous hormone that is called as abscisic acid or ABA. It is present in higher concentration. So this ABA, when it is present in its higher concentration, this inhibits the potassium uptake from the soil, as this potassium is important for the conversion of starch into glucose. In the absence of potassium, due to the higher concentration of the abscisic acid, there is no breakdown of the starch into the glucose, which is a respiratory substrate. There is no seed germination observed at all. So in this way, these are the 5 factors which are affecting the seed germination: water, oxygen, temperature, light and darkness, whereas the 5th is internal factors: phenolics, flavonoids, alkaloids, abscisic acid, in this way. Thank you.